fans around the world? B Marsh back at it with another boxing video. So you already know, man. You see the title, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you already could know or could tell from the thumbnail who I'm talking about. But if you know anything about boxing, you probably assume I'm talking about the man Sergey Kovalev. Because you know I ain't talking about Badu Jack. Badu Jack got a strong resume. That man has fought a lot of tough opponents in the last 2 years, you know what I mean? Since what, 2015? Since he was a champion 2015, we're in 2018. He hasn't lost. All he's fought his former world champs, current champs, been in unification fights, been in fights where the lineal titles on the line. So you definitely know I ain't talking about Badu Jack. Hold tight, man. Let me send these links to social media one time. Share. One sec. Alright. Okie doke. There we go. Alright. Now, you see me? I think I made it a point to myself, man. I'm not really gonna make any videos of any fights about with this guy involving Sergey Kovalev if he's not fighting no live opponents, you know what I'm saying? You check it, you know, his title run when he had all them 3 titles, WBA, WBO, and IBF. Man, go look at that resume and look at the guys he beat, man. Only difference on that resume with a guy like Adonis Stevenson is maybe that he had Jean Pascal on the resume, you know what I mean? Don't tell me about B-Hop. That was an old B-Hop he beat, an old B-Hop who tried to play hardball with the man, Adonis Stevenson, as far as negotiations. You know what I'm saying? When they were negotiating for a fight, Adonis Stevenson came to Showtime to fight the man, B-Hop, but B-Hop and them jumped ship with Golden Boy, then they came to HBO. He thought he'd face the easier mark in Kovalev rather than Adonis Stevenson, and you already know what happened there, man. 12-round survival mode for B-Hop, 12-round ass whooping. Got outboxed, you know what I'm saying, by the Russian Kovalev. You know what I'm saying? But what got me vexed about Kovalev, I watched his fight against his quote-unquote friend from Russia that he decided to give a shot, Igor Mikhalkin or whatever his name is. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the man, Kovalev battered him up, but the guy was also touching him up, you know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. That was an easy victory, you know, easy opponent for the man Kovalev, you know what I'm saying? But Kovalev, man, you know, I'm about to tell you what he's going to do now in his second run at light heavyweight. That man's not going to face no live opponents. He ain't going to face no Bivol, who just fought on the undercard right before him, before he fought the Igor Mikhalkin kid. And he's not going to fight fellas like, let's just start with Bivol, you know what I mean? Because this guy's going to milk that WBO title till he can, you know what I'm saying? Bivol is a guy who's a WBA champ, just beat Sullivan Barrera in impressive fashion, you know what I'm saying? You know, Sullivan Barrera also had moments, but not enough to win the rounds, you know what I mean? But, you know, the man Kovalev and Bivol is a big fight, you know what I mean? That's a fight they should try to make next, you know what I'm saying? Both guys fight on the same platform on HBO. Both guys are champions at 175. That's a former belt that the man Kovalev used to have, you know what I'm saying, the WBA title. Why wouldn't he go for it, you know what I mean? The man, if Kovalev knows what he's doing, if Team Kathy Duva and them smart, they would try to go for the gusto, try to go for the Bivol kid, you know what I mean? Right now, while he's young, and, you know, probably not that experienced, and, you know, he's only going to get better, and that's a fact, you know what I'm saying? He's only going to get better if he doesn't beat the likes of Kovalev, Adonis Stevenson, you know, the top gunners at 175, you know what I mean? So, you know, I think the man Kovalev, man, he's only going to hold that WBO belt hostage. He's going to fight fellas from his country like Shabransky and the Igor Mikhalkin kid. You know what I'm saying? Don't be surprised. He's not going to fight fellas like Grovsdick. You know what I mean? That's what he's not going to do. You know? But Kovalev, man, he's going to hold them belts hostage. You know what I'm saying? This guy's not really looking for unification. All you have to do is watch that post-fight commentary with Max Kellerman on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? He says he'll fight anybody. You know what I mean? But he doesn't want to fight no southpaws. You know what I'm saying? And he'll fight the winner of... No, he didn't say the winner. He says, I'll fight Badu Jack if he gets through Stevenson. Now, you already know there's going to be a hurdle right there. You know what I mean? Badu Jack is a Showtime guy. You know, Floyd Mayweather is not about to bring none of his fighters over to HBO. That's out, man. These are now strictly Showtime guys. And that's just a cop-out plea right there from the man, Kovalev. You know, why would you say I would like to fight the winner of the Kovalev versus Stevenson fight? You know what I mean? And why did he say I don't want to fight no southpaws? You know what I'm saying? That's basically talking about you don't want to fight Adonis Stevenson. You know what I mean? How you don't want to fight southpaws when the king of the division is a southpaw? That means you don't care about lineage. You don't care about being the number one champion in the division. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, fellas like Marcus Brownie, he's also a guy who's a southpaw, you know what I mean? And that's a fight I'd probably favor the man Kovalev. You check it, you know, I think the man Marcus Brown is so-so, you know. I mean, he did demolish the Sean Monahan kid, guy, you know, but that guy wasn't really a live opponent, you know what I mean? But, you know, the man Marcus Brown also still has problems. You know, he still need to give that kid, that hot rod Kalojiroro kid, a rematch, you know what I'm saying? But Marcus Brown is also a guy who's a southpaw, and he could probably give, you know, Kovalev a good fight, you know what I mean? But again, this guy is also on the PBC, and all the fighters that are southpaws are on the PBC Showtime side. That's Kovalev and Adonis Stevenson, you know what I mean? You check it. So it's clear as day that this guy Kovalev don't want to fight fellas like Stevenson. He don't want to face no. He don't even want to fight Bivol for crying out loud. What about Better Beef, a guy from Russia as well, a guy who has beat Kovalev a couple times in the amateurs? This guy never mentions him, you know what I mean? And now that Better Beef is signed with Top Rank, I don't know what's going to happen with him, if he's still going to be, because he's suing Yvon Michel from Jim Promotions up in Canada, where he used to be a part of. I don't know if he's still going to be in litigation or if he's still going to be able to fight while suing his former promoter, Yvon Michel. I don't know, but the man Kovalev, he did say that he'll fight for the right amount of money. He'll put up his title for the right amount of money. You check it. And I don't think a fight between him and Bivol will get any bigger. You check it. Only people who's really probably going to be paying attention. I mean, boxing hardcores will pay attention, but as far as casual fans, it's probably just going to be the Russian contingent, you know what I'm saying? And it's only right. Go ahead and make that fight, you know what I mean? You check it. Make that fight for the Russian contingent, because Kovalev, you ain't got no fans, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, tickets were being sold as low as $14 and $8 for your fight against this guy. Yeah, that might be a reason, because, you know, Deontay Wilder was fighting across the river, you know what I'm saying, or across the bridge in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center on the same night as Kovalev. But we've been on the track record. This guy has no fan base. That's why he went twice to probably collect his biggest paychecks besides fighting the man Andre Ward. His biggest paychecks were fighting guys like Jean Pascal in Canada. You know what I mean? The man had to cross the borders. You check it to go get his biggest paydays. But it disgusts me how people talk about this guy's a killer. Or did. They did. I never was under that notion that this guy was a killer. I thought he was a good fighter, you know what I mean? I always wanted to see him versus Adonis Stevenson, you know what I'm saying? But he, again, ducked Stevenson to probably, he thought Andre Ward was going to be an easy Vic, you know what I mean? He's going to be a mark. And he thought that the light puncher in Andre Ward, that he was going to wash him. And Kovalev got knocked out. He got caught with that vicious right hand that changed the man's, Kovalev's life, you know what I'm saying? Kovalev ain't going to be the same after that right hand right on his chin that made him do a funny dance, you know what I'm saying? Juju on that beat. Juju on that beat. The man was doing a funny stanky leg dance, and he ain't going to be the same ever again, you know what I'm saying? You check it. If this guy was such a killer, how comes he ain't tried to fight fellas like Adonis Stevenson when Adonis and ducked 2 purse bids, you know what I'm saying? If this guy is such a killer, you know, he already knows facing fellas like Bivol, who's definitely an accurate puncher, precise puncher, punches in straight lines, but he meets his target. That guy will probably knock Kovalev out, and Kovalev knows this, you know what I mean? Adonis Stevenson, one of the top 3 best punchers in the game, one-punch knockout artist. If he touches that jaw like Andre Ward did, it's a wrap, you know what I'm saying, with that long reach that the man Adonis Stevenson has with his left hand. And, you know, And these are the things that get me upset with Kovalev. And, all this, the Andre Ward haters, they still going to talk about low blows. The man's a cheater, what, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? And, hey, man, if Kovalev was such a bad man and talking he wouldn't have gassed out in the second half in the first fight. And by no means, the man was, when he fought Andre Ward, if those were low blows, hit the man back with a low blow too. You know what I'm saying? Hold tight. I see somebody in the chat. I see Hop in the chat. What's happening, man, with your Colorado Avalanche logo? He says, what Klitschko was to Joshua, Ortiz became for Wilder. Yeah, if you mean that those are the best victories on their careers, no question. I agree with you there if that's what you mean. And then Hop also says, Bivol style might be a bit robotic, but it's precise and effective. Good win for him versus Barrera. No question. That was a fight where it answered lots of questions about Bivol, you know what I mean? He still, in my opinion, doesn't have the best defense, He's a guy who's offensive minded, you know what I mean? And he takes punches to give punches. You check it, but a fight between him and Kovalev is a 50-50 fight. But I'd favor the younger guy right now in Bivol. You know what I mean? A guy who's on the come up, a guy who hasn't had his life changed by a right hand like Andre Ward did to Kovalev. You check it, so the man Kovalev wants to duck everybody in the motherfucking division except fighters from Russia that he probably sparred with and used to beat up in the amateurs, because he's not fighting better beef, a guy from the amateurs in Russia that used to beat him up. You know what I mean? The man Kovalev, you know what I'm saying? He ain't trying to fight for no WBC belt. That's a belt he actually doesn't even probably want, because, you know what I'm saying, he doesn't want to fight Stevenson, you know what I mean? You check it. He didn't even say, I want to fight the winner of Adonis Stevenson versus Badu Jack. He says, if Badu Jack beats Stevenson, I want him. What if he doesn't? You don't want Adonis Stevenson? Is that what you're saying? Hops in the chat. He says, I take it you will favor Joshua over Parker. I do. We will see Joshua Wilder this year. Will we see Joshua Wilder this year, in your opinion? In my opinion, no, we ain't going to see it. Now we're not going to see it, and I do favor Anthony Joshua over Joseph Parker. I don't think we're going to see it because the man, Eddie Hearn, has a track record of protecting his fighters and, not trying to put them in really difficult fights, you know what I mean? I mean, even look at a guy like Ron Burnett, the unified bantamweight champ. They trying to keep it safe for this guy, you know what I mean? For Ron Burnett, he has a WBA and IBF title. Yet he doesn't want to unify with a guy like Zulani Tete. A dangerous fight. Fans want to see it. Eddie Hearn doesn't. Same way with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. You know what I mean? Ortiz was Anthony Joshua's mandatory. Would Ortiz beat Anthony Joshua? How do we know? I mean, we don't know. I would have loved to see the fight. It didn't happen. We got Klitschko, great fight. But they still managed ways to maneuver around. I'm talking about Team Eddie Hearn and them and Anthony Joshua, to maneuver around Luis Ortiz, and Deontay Wilder stepped up to the plate and said, "Hey man, I'll take over. I'll beat your mandatories up. I'll fight your mandatory." And I don't think Anthony Joshua in his last fight was talking about he has mandatories to fulfill. You know what I mean? He said that, but then again took a unification with Anthony Joshua, which is all well and fine. I said Anthony Joshua, excuse me, Joseph Parker, which is all well and fine, but Deontay Wilder was originally in negotiations with Joseph Parker. And I'm not mad at Joseph Parker for fighting Anthony Joshua. That's a bigger payday. That's also a unification fight. He ain't fight Deontay Wilder. Some may call it a duck. Call it what you want. He was also in the States to watch Deontay Wilder versus Gerald Washington live, and we were assuming that he might be the next opponent for Wilder, but he went for the bigger money, and this is what it's all about too. It's also a business. Fellas got families to take care of, and the man, Anthony Joseph Parker, he went for the money. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I bet you after the fight, hey, we'll see on at the end of March when Joshua and Wilder and Joshua and Parker meet. You know what I mean? We'll see what the rhetoric of the story will be with the Team Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua. You know what I mean? But do I think that fight's happening this year? I highly doubt it, but I'd love to see it at the end of the year, just like any other boxing fan, you know? Okay. Hops in the chat, he says, loving the light heavyweight division these days, but will any of the top contenders ever step up and face Stevenson? Um, I'm sure that's a great question, Hop, and I'm sure all the participants, contenders, champions at 175 will be paying close attention to Adonis Stevenson fight versus Badu Jack, you know what I'm saying, on in May, you know what I mean? They'll be paying close attention to that. They want to see if this guy's going to age overnight, you know what I mean? Which is a possibility. He man is 40 years old, you know what I'm saying? But it's a possibility he could age overnight for messing with the man Badu Jack. But so far, not so far, Hop. It's been a while since Adonis Stevenson was at 168 pounds. Nobody wants to fight the guy, from Carl Froch to Andre Ward to Bernard Hopkins to Sergey Kovalev. Nobody has wanted to fight this guy, man, because the dimensions this guy brings to the ring, that hard hitting style he has. Great boxer, a guy who's a boxer puncher. He's not no slugger. The guy is a precise a precise puncher, and a guy who actually is very calculated and methodical with what he brings to the ring. And they know that, you know what I mean? A guy like Sergey Kovalev, you've seen him in the first Andre Ward fight, even the second. There's not much punch variety to his style. You know, he's classic stand up, straight up Eastern European block fighter. And a guy like Adonis Stevenson, man, he got too much soul. He got too much soul in him. He don't need no music like the old large professor main source track. He got so much soul. He don't need no music. That's the old large pro main source, and that's Adonis Stevenson, you know what I mean? And there's not really any fighter in that division right now who brings the dimensions and the ring IQ like he has, you know what I'm saying, at 175 pounds. Andre Ward did, but he's no longer in the game, you know what I mean? But I don't think anybody want to step up with Stevenson, but big ups to Badu Jack. He did in his second fight at light heavyweight. Congratulations to him, you know what I mean? But fellas like Kovalev is a guy who doesn't want to fight southpaws, so that eliminates fellas like Badu Jack. I'm sorry, Donna Stevenson and Marcus Brown. Um, Kathy Duva always be given false stories and false narratives, you know what I'm saying, concerning the Stevenson and Kovalev situation. They never talk about how they ducked out of two purse bids. Let me see. Hops in the chat says, good answer. Talk a bit about your thoughts on Stevenson Jack, unless you save it for later. I haven't made a prediction for that fight, but I think it's a great fight, man. It's actually my favorite fight of the year thus far, you know what I mean? I wanted to see, I say the top three fights between that we did know that were announced between January and let's say June. All on Showtime, you know what I mean? Because Showtime's whooping HBO's ass. I wanted really to see Wilder Ortiz. We got that out the way. Great fight, lived up to the hype and expectations. I also wanted to see what you call it, Jared Hurd versus Landy Lara. I'm personally invested into that fight as far as Jared Hurd's from my area, you know what I'm saying? You know, he's from the 301 Maryland, D.C. area. And and Landy Lara has been one of my favorites from 2011. For a long time, he's been one of my favorite fighters. I enjoy his style of boxing, Cuban style, you know, and Cuban boxing school. And Adonis Stevenson, Badu Jack. Those are my top three fights of the year. I personally would I like Badu Jack moving up to 175 and taking on Stevenson, you know, because really and truly, any and everybody who's been watching Stevenson fight for ever since he's been a champion, this is actually his biggest test thus far, as far as defending his world title. And that's what makes this fight intriguing, you know what I mean? It's the best opponent he's going to have faced in years, you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to it, man, and I'm definitely going to drop more videos about this. I see Boxing Fan in the chat. He says, Wagwan be mush. What the deal, man? Wagwan, Boxing Fan. Hope all is good with you, fam, you know what I mean? But Yeah, man. I just think that that fight right there is gonna be fireworks. You know what I'm saying? It's really gonna be a test of time to see if Adonis Stevenson will age overnight. You know what I'm saying? Can or will Badu Jack um be another victim of that left hand? You know what I'm saying? Um, a hot boxing fan says, "Come on, B Marsh. You know Badu Jack gonna KO Stevenson." I don't know about that. Boxing fan, man. This guy Badu Jack. Let's be real. I give him big props for every fight he's taken ever since he became a world champ, beating Anthony Durrell. But if you really look closely, man, and with the fine comb and brush off what really happened in between all the defenses he's had, man, all those fights were close, man. Every single title defense he had was razor close. Only time he's come out victorious as far as demolishing a guy was Nathan Cleverly at 175, which is all well and fine. That's good. But, George Groves, I had George Groves winning that fight by a point. You know what I mean? Um, the kid, the Lucian Bute who took steroids, he took steroids. I had Badu Jack winning that fight. But then again, it was controversial because the man took steroids and they gave him a draw. That fight was actually in D.C. All right, James DeGale versus Badu Jack. I had that fight a draw. You know what I'm saying? Um, Anthony Durrell versus Badu Jack. I had Badu Jack winning that fight. You know what I mean? Badu Jack, man, you know about his whiskers already, man. That's what we do know about his whiskers. And a guy like Derek, what was his name? Derek Edwards put the guy on the canvas, you know what I'm saying? And I don't like to bring that stuff up, but good gosh, if that man could do that, if this guy's struggling with the likes of George Groves and Lucian Butes and even James DeGale, a guy who I don't consider a vicious puncher, put this guy on the canvas, you know what I mean? So I expect Stevenson to no, he's not gonna get KO'd by Badu Jack. Badu Jack don't KO nobody. You know what I'm saying? He don't. If he does, boxing fan, I'll be shocked. And that's the element of surprise why we love boxing. I don't get surprised when Deontay Wilder did what he did to Luis Ortiz. I actually predicted a ninth or 10th round stoppage. And that's exactly what happened. But we do get surprised when a guy like Tim Bradley could knock a motherfucker out with one punch. We know Tim Bradley's a good fighter, but he don't knock nobody out. You check it? But Adonis does, and Badu Jack doesn't. But Badu Jack can bring the pain with the inside game. He has a very good inside game, the body shots. He's not a guy who does anything great. He does everything well, but does he even want to get that close to that long reach of Stevenson? That's the question. It's an intriguing fight, believe you me. And like I said, the best opponent Stevenson has faced in his title reign as a defense, in all his title defenses. But Badu Jack is also a guy who, he still also got some questions to answer, and breaking Nathan Cleverly's nose is not on the to-do list as far as rating guys and saying this guys can come up to 175 and knock out the lineal champion or guys who've been established there. And a boxing fan, we shall see, man. And I'm gonna give you big props if he does KO Stevenson, but I highly doubt it. You know what I mean? But then I'm gonna still go with Kovalev nut ass, and I said he doesn't want to face southpaws. He don't want to unify unless it's for big money. And he said, I'm ready to fight anybody if the money is right. So there you go. A fight with him and Bivol, the money ain't going to be right. You know what I'm saying? If the man Kovalev's seats are costing $8 to $14 at MSG, hey, man, it is what it is, man. Kovalev is managed by a lot of women. If you already know about main events, stable as far as management and the promoters, Kathy Duva and the Italian ladies that he has in main events. They work out of a house over there in New Jersey, which is all well and fine. They are they are players in the boxing game as far as promoting, but Sergey Kovalev got to really consider his management, man. Are they really getting him? And Igor Klimas, are they getting him the paydays he deserves? He ain't gonna get them type of paydays unless he goes to Canada and fuck with the man Adonis Stevenson, you know? Hops in the chat and he says, people, not you, B. Marsh, he says in parentheses, keep missing the point on Wilder. They fail to realize that elite KO power is just as much valid of the sport as technique. No fighter does every part of the game well. Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. And especially in the heavyweight division, you know? The heavyweight division, man, you could be a great boxer all day, every day, but you might meet that. But till you get caught on your face by a rough and rugged fighter who got stupid KO power like Wilder, and that could just change the fight around, you know what I'm saying? Be a big home run punch, boom, big touchdown punch, slam dunk, whatever analogy you want to put it in. As far as sport metaphors that get crowds excited, that's what happens in the heavyweight division. And that's exactly what happened with Wilder and Ortiz. I had Ortiz up on my scorecard by 2 points. But does it matter now? No. Wilder still got his belts. He's the one who caused devastating punishment to Ortiz. And it is what it is, you know what I mean? But yo, B Marsh Boxing about to seal the deal over here. Big ups to my man Hop. Thanks for coming through with the Colorado Avalanche logo. I see Boxing Fan. Big ups to Boxing Fan out there in Amsterdam, Holland. And just gotta let y'all know, man, Kovalev's a big pussy, man. He's a big pussycat. He ain't no killer. He don't want to face nobody. He's still haunted by that right hand that landed on his chin that made him do a juju on that beat dance by Andre Ward. You know what I mean? Hop says in the chat, exactly. I had Ortiz up as well. Also, go Avs. Good for you. That's what's up, man. I don't watch too much hockey. I don't watch hockey at all. I ain't gonna lie, but I do wear hockey jerseys in the wintertime, you know what I mean? You know, I bust out the Wayne Gretzky LA Kings joint. I wear my Boston Bruins. If I support any team in hockey, I'm going to support my Boston Bruins, you know what I mean? From when I lived in Boston, I still support all my Boston teams, you know what I mean? You know, I fucks with my Red Sox, Patriots, Celtics. And I still wear my Boston Bruins shit, man. I might bust it out today, man. You know what I mean? Hops in the chat says, I think you'd like ice hockey. It's great stuff, man. Yeah, it's good to see, you know. It's basically like soccer on ice, you know what I mean? But, you know, fellas using a stick and you got to score and a goal. It's, you know, precise passing. You know what I mean? It's basically like soccer, and I like soccer, you know what I mean? So I ain't mad at it, man, but I already watch too many sports to keep up with any other sport, you know what I mean? So I'm going to leave it at that, man. But, yeah, Hobbs says much faster than soccer. Or yeah, you're absolutely right, man. With the way that puck be flowing on the ice skating rink. You know, when I lived back in Boston, man, ice hockey was big. You know what I mean? You know, the kids. I didn't really play. You know, Friday nights kids would link up at the skating rink. You know what I mean? You know, try to holler at the shorties. You know what I mean? You know, it was just what kids did on Friday nights, and not only that, kids would also play and ice hockey leagues. You know, I'm not trying to, you know, bring it about race, but it was the white kids. You know what I'm saying? They was into that hockey. You know what I mean? They'd be on teams and whatnot. You know, and hey, you know, they enjoyed it, and that's good for them. You know what I mean? But thanks a lot. Hop says, God bless, B. Marsh. You're intelligent, and I like listening to you. Have a swell day. Thanks a lot, Hop. I appreciate you coming through, man. Same as Boxing Fan. You know what I mean? Big ups to everybody who comes through in the chat. You know what I mean? I just try to keep it non-biased over here. I love boxing, but I don't like no boxer more than the sport. All right? B Marsh Boxing, I'm gone. Peace.